crafters. So as you might already know, we are having 2 free summer stitch alongs, and I'm here to tell you about the first of 2, which starts on Monday, and that is a crochet stitch along, and it's to make this lovely bag. So we are going to be making one of these, and each step of the process is going to be broken down into little segments over 7 days. But I'm here today to tell you about what materials and tools you're going to need so that you can be prepared and get all your bits and bobs ready for Monday. So the materials that you're going to need are, first and foremost, would be your cotton yarn that you're going to craft with. So I would highly recommend going with cotton because it makes a stronger structure. It's not as stretchy as woolly acrylic and other sort of other fibres, but the cotton DK would be my recommendation. You know, this is your bag, you can make it out of whatever you want to, but my recommendation would be to go with a cotton DK. So if you're anything like me, you might have lots of cotton DK, just random balls. So for making dolls and things like that, I tend to have lots of random balls and little odds and ends of cotton in all different colours. So for example, this bag I made out of loads of tiny little scraps like this that I just had left over from balls of cotton DK that I've been using for other craft projects. So these are all just left over, and everything that was in that bag, that's all kind of like leftover balls of yarn, and I love a good project that helps you to use up lots of odds and ends, so this one is brilliant for that. So if you haven't got lots of cotton left over or lots of bits and bobs of cotton that you want to use up, then you can buy some, and I've got a few sort of brands here, but any cotton DK will work lovely for it. But for example, King Cole have this big value recycled dishcloth cotton that will work well for it, and they've got that in a few different colours. Stylecraft craft cotton, they do this one in white and this ecru, I think. I'm not sure if it comes in other colours, but they do have another, Stylecraft have other cotton DK as well. This Rico Rumi, this is actually acrylic, but I loved the colour of it, and these are good for your amigurumi projects and stuff, because you just get them in little bits at a time. But it acts quite similar to cotton, so this particular one I would say will still work okay. So yeah, Fabrics Plus in Down End stock all 3 of those, and you can find those online, and there are lots of other brands as well, but I just thought I would mention some of the ones that I know of and that I've used, just to help give you a place to start from. But any cotton DK will work great for the project. And then you're going to want about 250 grams worth of DK cotton for the whole bag. I made up all of these circles out of tiny little scraps and odds and ends, and then it took about a ball and a half, probably a bit less, of white to do the borders and the handles. So yeah, if you've got some scraps that you want to use up, you might just want to get a ball or 2 of the white to add to it. So overall, in total, you're going to want about 250 grams of DK craft cotton, and that could be made up of little bits and bobs or whole balls or whatever you can get your hands on, or whatever you've got to use up in your stash. And then the other thing that you're going to need is, if you're going to line your bag, which I would recommend, if you're making it with cotton, it will be relatively strong already, so it's not 100% necessary, but it will just make a stronger bag if you're thinking of taking it shopping and putting cans and stuff like that in it. You know, cans or tins or fruit and veg and stuff, if it gets a little bit weighty, without the lining, it will kind of stretch it out of shape a bit. But with the cotton lining, it gives it a lot more structure. So if you are going to line it, then I would recommend just any medium, light to medium weight cotton fabric. So like calico will work, some plain white. If you've, again, I would just, if you've got a stash of fabric, just find something that fits your bag. You know, you're going to want under 1/2 meter. If you're going to go and buy it new, then 1/2 meter will do. If you've got it in your stash, if you've got like a stash of fabric, then I would say to use something that you've got, you know, and you could use anything. It doesn't have to be plain, it could be patterned. It might look nice to have a little floral lining, something like that, or any print or pattern. But yeah, so it's not, you won't need 1/2 meter, but if you're quite 1/2 meter, but if you're buying it new, I would get 1/2 meter. If you've got it in your stash, then this finished bag is 12 inches by 12 inches. And you're going to need 2 of those with a bit of a seam allowance, and then a little bit for your strap. So that's how much you'll want if you're just getting it from your stash. And if you're buying it new, I would say get 1/2 meter, and then you'll have a bit left over for other projects. Okay, so, oh, and then the only other thing materials wise is you're going to want some cotton for sewing your lining, and that can be any sewing cotton will do, cotton thread. And then tools wise, you are going to want, of course, your crochet hook, and I would recommend either a 3.5 or a 4, either will do. I made this bag with a 3.5, and as I said, it came out at 12 inches. But I made these squares with a 4 hook, and they've come out quite a lot bigger. So if you want a bigger bag, then you could use a 4. If you want it to be a bit more sort of tight and structured, then a 3.5. Obviously, it all depends on your tension and stuff as well, but in terms of how big they'll come out. I'm not setting a gauge or anything like that for this particular project. I think it makes it much easier, much less stress for everybody. If you just make the squares, the bag comes out the size that it comes out based on your natural tension, and then we'll make our lining to fit the bag that we've made. So yeah, your hook, 3.5 or a 4 will be absolutely great. You're going to want a darning needle for sewing your ends in, and you're going to want some scissors for cutting your thread and your fabric, and then you're going to want a small sewing needle for sewing your lining in, or a sewing machine. So if you've got a sewing machine, or you've got use of a sewing machine and you want to use it for lining your bag, then you can, but if you don't, it's absolutely fine. You can just do your lining of your bag and sew it in with some hand stitches and a needle. So yeah, I think that's about it really. That's probably all you'll need to know to be ready for Monday. If I think of anything else, then I'll just pop onto the event and let you guys know. But if you do want to join in, then make sure that you've selected going on the event, to make sure that you get lots of updates, not lots of updates, just get updates on when it starts and all of that kind of thing. And if anything else comes up that I think of that you'll need, I'll let you know on there. So on the event, select going, and then also I'll be providing help and support in the community on the Raise Room Facebook group. So if you're not already a member of that group, just go and request to join and I'll approve you. And then that will mean that you'll get to see other people's bags as they're making them. Other people, if they have any questions, will post them on there, and that might answer questions that you have. And we can just generally help and inspire each other via the group. So yeah, select going on the event and join the Raise Room Facebook group, Raise Room Crafters Facebook group. And other than that, I will look forward to seeing you on Monday. And if you've got any questions, pop it in the comments.